Public health expert Caroline Weinberg is fed up.
Scientists, and evidence-based policymaking are under attack, and people who support science have to take a public stand at this point.
With a president who disregards the science on climate change, who is undoing regulations aimed at protecting health and the environment, and who proposed deep cuts to science and health programs, Weinberg and colleagues felt they had to do something. They noted the March for Women's Rights in January had drawn a far bigger crowd than President Donald Trump's inauguration the day before.
We were talking about the Women's March and how powerful it was and what a message it sent, and kind of we're talking about whether it would be possible to do that for science.
So they did what any protest movement does these days. They took to social media. In just a few days, the March for Science Facebook page drew hundreds of thousands of people. Backers in more than 500 cities have organized their own satellite marches. And major scientific organizations have added their support. Geochemist Eric Davidson is president of the 60,000-member American Geophysical Union. Many of the group's members did the climate research that the Trump administration disavows. He says a protest like this is unheard of.
Well, I can't think of another example where scientists have organized themselves in as many cities with an event as big as this. So this is pretty remarkable and unprecedented.
Though many say the risks to science are greater than ever, not everyone is on board.
Maybe that's true, but a march is not going to change anything. That's the problem.
Rob Young heads coastal research at Western Carolina University. He says the problem is the growing disconnect between scientists and, especially, working-class voters. He says scientists have to get out of the lab and show the public how their work affects people's health and livelihoods.
I hope that when they're done marching in Washington, that they will come home and that they will march into their local planning board or local town council.
That might be from road salt, right?
Davidson says that's what march organizers hope too.
And I think the day is gone when scientists can stay in their ivory towers and assume that everyone is going to recognize their value.
Organizers stress that science is nonpartisan, and the march should be too. But it will be a challenge in a divided country where partisans lay claim to their own sets of facts. Steve Baragona, VOA News, Washington.